Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I have something very interesting for you today. I found one of Ripple's attorneys that was on the SEC case on a podcast, and you're going to get to hear about how important what John Deaton did was and what the XRP Army did was for them in the lawsuit, behind the scenes like you've never heard it before. I'm going to play you that part of it. Before I get going, I want to tell you something I did last night. Last night I was having a little whiskey drink, and I was sitting there watching the XRP price, and I was like, man, I gotta buy this dip. I had some cash that was going to show up in my Caleb and Brown account, so I sent them an email. This is like at 7 or 8 o'clock last night. Sent them an email. Remember, they're Australia, but I sent them an email. I said, hey, when that money, as soon as that money hits, I want you to buy XRP with it. So they said they would do it. And I said, so I went to bed, and as you know, the markets got down. I think it got down around 270 something XRP. Woke up this morning, had an email in my inbox with the trade, with a PDF attached showing me the trade, that it had happened, and I was able to buy that dip. Huge. I mean, I haven't been able to do that in crypto anywhere all these years. I love it. XRPwealth589.com is where you can go if you want to open an account. That'll forward you to my page here on Caleb and Brown. Hit sign up today. You get free institutional custody. You get the OTC liquidity when you're ready to make an exit. You get a broker you can talk to or email like I did last night. I mean, I really love it. I'm not just saying it. It's like a game changer for me. Now we've got a 279-ish XRP. Market's ticked back up a little bit, 3.81 trillion. Doesn't mean anything to me until I start seeing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trillion. I'll be accumulating until then if we have any dips. Okay, this is the attorney. Her name is We've heard from Stuart Alderati a lot, but he talks more in generalities in this podcast. And I encourage you to go watch the whole thing on my profile here, but I'm going to play you the part where she talks about when they discovered that there was this army involved.
They have discovery periods that last years, but we had this case, we were focused on trying to get it done quickly, so we pushed things very, very fast. I think one of the most interesting things about this case, and you mentioned a little bit, Brian, was around the public interest.
Yes. When
a case starts, you have what's called a case management conference, and it's really kind of a boring thing. It's all about just setting up the schedule. You submit something to the court in advance that the parties have worked on to basically say, how long is discovery? When are we going to file these kinds of motions? When is trial going to be? How many days do you need? Pretty boring. So we call into our case management conference because this is during COVID, and so all of our hearings are by phone. The phone line at that first case management conference accommodated 500 people. The line maxed out.
Wow.
And somebody on my team, on our internal team, a lawyer, a litigator, was like, Deborah, I can't get on the call. It's blocked. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. The CMC starts, and the judge starts off by saying, we have a group of law students on the line from a law school that I can't recall the name of in Florida, who are taking a securities law and blockchain course. So, counsel, would you like to start off this CMC, which means case management conference, by giving a little background on the case? That is so unusual. It is so unusual, but we were like, yes, we would love to. And we seized that moment. But again, 500 people, law students calling in, is just very strange. Our next hearing it's a dispute over subpoenas. It's like the most boring thing ever. And the court had now gotten savvy to, hey, this case is getting a lot of attention. So they opened up a call-in line for 5,000 people.
Maxed out.
The line maxed out.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I mean, when I was in private practice, my own clients didn't show up to Discovery
Yeah.
before, and they were paying you, right?
Yeah.
And it was a very hard fought case. So we had a lot of hearings on discovery motions, and which is again fighting over documents and depositions and the like. And those lines maxed out every single time, which is just really incredible.
Is this the point where you're thinking like, ooh, this is history? We're like really defining something here.
Yeah. I also think it was this point in time where I realized this case is touching a lot of people.
Yeah.
In ways that certainly I don't think the SEC anticipated. I certainly didn't anticipate. But I think that's maybe some of the beauty of blockchain, that people and the XRP ledger, people can be doing things with it without Ripple knowing, without me knowing. It is just building really neat, interesting, innovative things on the ledger that were then negatively impacted by the SEC's decision to go after Ripple. I think that bothered a lot of people.
I think it did. And yeah, I'm curious, you mentioned a few, but I'm sure there were other tough periods during this case because it's been quite a few years.
Turn was, as we were several months into the lawsuit, we were having a hearing over getting documents from the government, which were listened to argument, and they were fighting hard too to say a little bit of a tide turn in that moment.
Potential allegations from the SEC, what Brian referred to as the XRP army. How important were they, do you think, in helping turn that tide and advocating for Ripple?
Yeah, so I think that they were very helpful for a couple of reasons. I think number one, it's a very long story, but there was a lawyer who intervened into our case, actually, which is very unusual.
John Deaton.
Purporting to represent thousands of XRP holders. And so I think it gave the court visibility that, hey, this lawsuit that the SEC brought against Ripple is not just about Ripple. It impacts a lot of people. So that's point one. Point two is one of our defenses that we had was a fair notice defense, that Ripple did not have fair notice of the law and the claims that the SEC could bring because, as we said, like the SEC's interpretation of what was a security was so far afield from what the law had previously said, in our view. And so to support that, we were looking for speeches, talks, things the SEC or the government had said related to blockchain, crypto, XRP, Ripple.
You remember when we were uncovering those?
And the XRP army mined that for us. We didn't ask them to. But once they saw this defense in our answer, people started finding things. I could have paid lawyers thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars to do that. And yet they were finding it and posting it on Twitter. And that was tremendously helpful for me.
So let's fast forward a little bit.
How about that, folks? You were all involved in changing the world. I think September will be a boring month for XRP fireworks in October. I kind of believe this. It doesn't matter to me if I get to buy more dips, that's fine with me. But I do think October, November, December, anything can happen in a good way. Crypto in America says Congress returns, market structure takes center stage, plus the Trump admin delivers on debanking retribution. And then here's the VanEck CEO talking some XRP and SEC.
So in the early days, every ETF needed SEC approval. So you can imagine that was a lot of back and forth, and that's been more standardized. And that's why they're talking about doing a rule for crypto ETPs now as well, because the SEC staff does not want to be commenting on every, XRP leveraged product, right? So, I would say the SEC, it's interesting how the SEC's role is kind of diminished, I would say, because if you look at stablecoin legislation, a lot of it's going to the OCC, right? They're not checking they're not doing the audits. And then if this sort of market structure bill passes, a lot of the authority is going to go to the CFTC, right? So it's in a way, I think institutionally, what this is a whole separate podcast, but they were sort of so aggressive or incompetent or whatever word you want to use during the last 5-year stretch that the Capitol Hill has said no. Stay in your lane, SEC.
Okay, and then here's the rise of borderless money. This was on CoinDesk.
It's so funny. Most of the conversations we have about crypto are happening in the United States. They're happening in Europe, occasionally in kind of the bigger, more cosmopolitan cities in Asia. And we also have the luxury. We work a lot with Stellar and with Cello and with Ripple and all these people who are looking at the payment side and who, like you, are really focused on Africa and the emerging markets of LATAM. And I know that's an area you guys are about to come into that we'll talk about in a second. But
what gets me excited about it is the practicality of the use case. To your point, a lot of the conversations, especially in the early days, that I was having in crypto, that you still have in crypto, obviously. Look, no offense to anybody that's building on this stuff, but it's just like trading dog and cat coin back and forth.
Because digital communities, really with the rise of gaming and the internet and social media, all sort of don't care where the physical borders are. They actually care more about the emotional borders, the passion-based borders. I want to be part of the Taylor Swift community, or I want to be part of the Ripple community. Like either of those have a lot of overlap. And with the lubricant of the internet that says I can do this now at speed of thought, that we needed an internet-based money, and we didn't want it to be governmental. We also maybe didn't want it to be volatile. Like I think that's one of the beauties of stablecoins is knowing there's a one-to-one match somewhere in a treasury. There's really excitement.
Yes, sir. Okay, I got a lot more. We're going to go into DAIXRP.com. That's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join below any of these videos, or you can hit subscribe on the X platform. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.